All right, this is a story another story which I heard from Rabbi Mendel Futafas. I heard myself from Rabbi Mendel Futafas. And he told the story like this. He said that I don't remember if he told me that he actually saw this or he heard it. I think that he saw it, but I'm not sure. The story is like this, that, now I remember. Oh, thank you. Now I just popped into my mind. I remember. When Rabbi Mendel Futafas, when he was in prison, here's a picture of him, by the way. Here's a picture of Rabbi Mendel Futafas, if you want. Here, picture of him. 1 second. Here, see Rabbi Mendel. Well, you see that have glass on it, so there he is. That sort of reflection over there. Anyway, that's Rabbi Mendel Futafas. Anyway, so he was in Siberia. So we heard a story from a person that was there. Now, there were a lot of Jews that had been religious, or their parents were religious, and they left. And there was one person that was there, and he got in conversations with a lot of them. He liked to talk. Something is unmuted. 1 second over here. Here we go. Oh, Bill Clinton. No. Okay. So so it's like this. So he met a Jew in Siberia in the work camps, and this Jew, he had been a communist. He was a sworn, avowed communist, and Stalin, may his name be blotted out forever, he killed people right and left. I mean, there was one big purge where he killed like all of the generals in the army, anybody who thought might go against him. Just totally insane. Anyway, so, and there was also who knows how many numerous people that he just put into prison. This guy was one of them. And he said that he, previously had been a Bundist. Bundist was also a Jewish socialist sort of movement. And then when communism came, everybody loved communism. There was a saying that in Russia, if you weren't a communist, you weren't young. If you weren't, everyone was a communist. Communism was that was the promise for the whole world. It was going to take over the world. Even in Israel, should know that I know people that were in kibbutz, the Shomer HaTzeir, called the Young Guard, far left kibbutzes in Israel, and they had pictures of Stalin on the wall, in the lunchroom, in the dining room. They had a picture of Stalin. Stalin says, Shemesh La'amim, he is the illuminator of the world. Anyway, so he said, okay, so he said he was a Bundist. When communism came along, he became a communist. And he said, now he's totally disenchanted with the whole business, He said, maybe he'll go, if he gets out, he'll go to Israel. To be religious, no way, but maybe he'll be a Zionist. Anyway. So he said, he told Reb Mendel, he said, you want to know how anti-religious we were? When he was a Bundist. The Bundist, like I said, Bund means like the group, the joint. Bund means the bind. It was a Jewish socialist movement. It was very, very popular in Russia for a while. And he said, we were walking, this is the story, right? We were walking down the street. He told Reb Mendel, we were walking down the street one day, we're going to work. The whole thing they believed in was work. They learned and they learned philosophy, whatever they learned, and they went to work. Main thing was work. You worked in the factories. So he said, we worked in a big mill. What is it called? A grain mill. They would grind wheat to make bread out of it. Grind wheat. Had a huge mill over them. He says, that's what we walked. Said, we saw on the other side of the street, said, we saw the Rudziner Rebbe. Rudziner Rebbe, he's a Rebbe that he wrote books about the blue of the tzitzit. Blue, a very genius person, a very holy person. And he wrote these, why you have to put blue. A lot of people still, they do put blue strands because of what he wrote, but a lot of also don't. It doesn't make any difference. Anyway, so he was walking with his pupils from a school. He had like 20, 30 pupils, and we were walking on the other side of the street. All these Bundist kids, right? These socialist, all of them were Jews. And we started yelling at these little Jewish kids walking on the other side of the street, and they had payas. They had, these long, and we started throwing stones at them. throwing stones. We hated them, hated the religious people, hated them. And our leader said to the Rebbe, he said, look at the little horses walking with the big horse, because they were all dressed in black and they had these long, said, guck auf the kleine Pferdlach, gehen noch der große Pferd. So look at the little horses going after a Pferd. In Yiddish is like a fool, a very low type of person. It's a Pferd is like, don't be a horse. So they all laughed and we all laughed, ha ha ha, and we all threw stones. And the Rebbe turned to our leader. We had our leader. He just screamed this thing out. And he said, oh, guck, du willst a misa machina. Looks like you want a strange death. Mita mishuna. It seems that I see you want to die a strange death. Misa mishuna. So our leader started laughing at Misa Mishina, Misa Mishina. And all the little kids, they laughed, Misa Mishina. They said, we went to the factory and they were still laughing. A strange death. I want to die a strange death. Who are these guys, So we started the mill. He said, and our leader, he turned to us and he yelled, Misha Mishina, and the end of his coat got caught in the wheat, in the mill, in the wheat grinding mill. Is this huge stone that was rolling around. And so he tried to take his coat off, but the thing pulled him in and he couldn't get his coat off in time. And somehow or other his hand got caught in the thing and it pulled him in little by little into the mill. It pulled him into the mill and it ground him up in front of our own eyes. He said, we saw it ground him all up and he was screaming and yelling. We tried to stop the mill. Well, we couldn't. The movement of it was so heavy. What's it called? The inertia, whatever, is so heavy that it just continued going on like a couple of minutes after we turned it off. And in that time he was pulled in and ground up totally. There was nothing we could do. It was just it happened in moments, and just ground him up. His head went into his head. That's it. It ground him up totally. Everyone saw with their own eyes the curse of that Rebbe, Misa Mishuna, a strange death. He made fun of these people, and the Rebbe cursed them, and it happened in front of our own eyes. We all saw what happened. He said, you know what we did? He said, we cleaned up the place, and 15 minutes later, we continued working like nothing happened. It had absolutely no effect on us whatsoever. You figure maybe somebody would be a little bit shaken up or something like that. So it says that comes to show us the degree to which we opposed any sort of hint of godliness. Which, I mean, it's not a new thing. The Jewish people saw at Mount Sinai, they saw all these big miracles and God took them out of Egypt and everything, and they worshiped the golden calf. So that's the nature of man, and it's a very big miracle that we do believe in God, and it's a big miracle that we act accordingly. And we should never for one instant take that for granted. Have a good day with Mashiach. Now, God willing, there will be a class at 3:00.